They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but no one told you it could also be served at a wedding. On the night Chidi married the woman who gave him a child, he did something unforgivable. He invited the woman he had destroyed, the woman he called Barren, the woman he humiliated in front of her entire village. He wanted her to witness his triumph, to watch him celebrate the family she could never give him. But Adanna came, and what she brought with her that night would turn his wedding into a nightmare no one would ever forget. This is not a story about love. This is a story about what happens when you mock what you don't understand. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll question everything you believe about fate, karma, and the things we cannot see. Before I tell you what happened at that wedding, you need to understand 3 things. First, Adanna was not always the woman in black. She was once the most desired bride in Umueke village. Beautiful, kind, full of life. Second, Chidi didn't just leave her. He destroyed her, publicly, cruelly, in a way that left scars deeper than anyone could see. And third, on the night before that wedding, Adanna visited a place no woman in the village dared to go alone. So the questions you should be asking are these. Why did she accept the invitation? What did she find in that forbidden place? And most importantly, was she still human when she walked into that wedding hall? 7 years before the wedding, Adanna Okafor was the pride of Umueke. She taught at the village primary school. Children loved her, mothers trusted her, and when Chidi Nnamdi, the successful businessman from the city, chose her as his wife, the entire village celebrated. Their marriage was blessed by the elders, prayers were said, sacrifices were made, everyone believed they were destined for happiness. For 2 years they lived in peace. Adanna was a good wife, she cared for his mother, she managed his household, she waited for the child that would complete their family. But month after month, year after year, her womb remained empty. And in a village where a woman's worth is measured by the children she bears, Adanna began to feel the weight of 1,000 eyes. At first, Chidi defended her. He told his family to be patient. He told Adanna that God's time was the best. But time is a cruel teacher. By the 3rd year, the man who once looked at her with love now looked at her with something else, something cold, something bitter. His mother became bolder with her insults. What kind of woman cannot give my son a child? Are you a woman at all, or just a shadow wearing a wrapper? Chidi said nothing when his mother spoke. He just stared at his food and ate in silence. And silence, Adanna would learn, is the cruelest form of agreement. One night, after another failed attempt to conceive, Chidi spoke the words that would break her. Maybe you are the problem, Adanna. Maybe God is telling me something. Felt her heart shatter, but she swallowed the pain and whispered, then let us both go for tests. Let us know for certain. He refused. I don't need tests. I come from a fertile family. My brothers have children. My father had 12. The problem is not me. And that's when Adanna knew. She was no longer his wife. She was his scapegoat, his excuse, his shame. Everything changed on a Saturday morning in September. Adanna was at the market buying vegetables when she heard the laughter. A group of women huddled together, whispering and giggling like schoolgirls. One of them saw Adanna and the laughter stopped. But the damage was done. Adanna's instinct screamed that something was wrong. She confronted them. What is so funny? Share the joke so we can all laugh. The women exchanged glances. Then one of them, Ngozi, a woman who had always envied Adanna, smiled wickedly. Oh Adanna, you do know, your husband is building a house in the city, a big, beautiful house for his new wife. The world tilted. New wife? Yes, oh, Kioma, the banker, she's 3 months pregnant, didn't he tell you? Adanna's basket fell from her hands, tomatoes rolled into the dust. The women watched her, their eyes gleaming with cruel satisfaction. This was entertainment, this was gossip they would feast on for months. Adanna didn't cry, not there, not in front of them. She walked home in a daze, her mind refusing to accept what she'd heard. But when she arrived, she found Chidi packing a suitcase. You're leaving? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. He didn't look at her. I'm getting married next month, to someone who can give me what you cannot. Chidi, please, we can try again, we can see specialists, we can. We, he turned to her, his face twisted with contempt. There is no we, Adanna. There is me trying to build a legacy. And there is you, a Barren woman who wasted 5 years of my life. The word hung in the air like poison. Barren. Take it back, she whispered. Take it back, Chidi. Why, it's the truth, you are empty. useless, a tree that bears no fruit. My mother was right about you from the beginning. Adanna felt something inside her snap, not her heart that was already broken, something deeper, something primal. Leave this house, she said quietly. Leave now. He laughed, a cruel, mocking sound. This is my house, my father's land. You think you can tell me to leave? No, Adanna, you will leave. Pack your things and go back to your father's compound, back to the shame you came from. He grabbed his suitcase and walked toward the door. Then he stopped and turned back with a smile that would haunt Adanna forever. Oh, and Adanna, you're invited to my wedding. Front row seat. I want you to see what a real woman looks like, what a mother looks like. And then he was gone. Adanna stood in the empty house, surrounded by 5 years of memories that now felt like lies. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stood there, feeling something dark and ancient awakening inside her.
The next 3 weeks were the darkest of Adanna's life. She moved back to her father's compound, but even there, she found no peace. Her own family looked at her with pity, and worse, with blame. Her father, a traditional man, believed that a woman's inability to conceive was a curse from the gods. "What did you do to anger your chi?" he asked her one evening. "Did you offend the ancestors? Did you break a covenant?" Adanna had no answers. She had prayed. She had fasted. She had done everything right. And still, she was being punished. The village gossip spread like wildfire. Everywhere she went, people whispered. Some pitied her. Others mocked her. A few even suggested she had used her beauty to trap Chidi, only to disappoint him with her empty womb. The wedding invitation arrived 2 weeks before the ceremony. It was delivered by a young boy, one of Chidi's distant cousins. The envelope was expensive, embossed with gold letters. Inside, her name was written in elegant calligraphy. Adanna Okafor, special guest of honor. The cruelty was deliberate, calculated. He wanted her there. He wanted her to suffer. That night, Adanna made a decision. She would go to the wedding, but not as the broken woman Chidi expected, not as the victim he wanted to parade before his new family. She would go as something else entirely. There was a place in the village, a place spoken of only in whispers, a place where the old ways still lived, where the spirits still walked, where desperate people went when they had nothing left to lose. The shrine of Allah. Allah was the earth goddess, the mother of all things. She governed fertility, morality, and justice. She blessed the innocent and cursed the wicked. The shrine was deep in the forest, tended by Mama Nkaruka, an old woman who was feared and respected in equal measure. Some called her a priestess. Others called her a witch. Adanna didn't care what she was. She only cared that Mama Nkaruka had power. 3 nights before the wedding, Adanna wrapped herself in a dark wrapper and walked into the forest alone. The path to the shrine was overgrown, barely visible in the moonlight. The trees seemed to lean in, watching her. The air was thick and heavy, pressing against her skin like invisible hands. She heard sounds, strange sounds, whispers in languages she didn't understand, footsteps that matched her own but came from the shadows. She was terrified, but she kept walking. When she finally reached the shrine, she found Mama Nkaruka waiting, as if she had known Adanna would come. The old woman sat before a fire, her face hidden in shadow. "So," Mama Nkaruka said without looking up, "the Barren wife has come to seek justice." Adanna's voice trembled. "How did you know?" "The spirits told me. They have been watching you, child. They have seen your suffering, and they have seen his cruelty." Adanna fell to her knees. "Please, I don't want to hurt him. I just want him to know, to understand what he's done, to feel what I've felt." Mama Nkaruka finally looked at her, and Adanna gasped. The old woman's eyes were white, completely white. No pupils, no irises, just milky, swirling white. "You think you don't want to hurt him?" the priestess said softly. "But the spirits know what your heart truly desires, and they are willing to help." She reached into the fire, into the actual flames, and pulled out a small clay pot. "Take this to the wedding. When the time is right, when he is at his happiest, you will know what to do." Adanna's hands shook as she reached for the pot. It was cold, despite being pulled from fire. What will happen?" Mama Nkaruka smiled, and it was not a kind smile. "Justice, child. Pure, perfect justice. He called you barren. He mocked the womb that the goddess herself blessed or withheld. He will learn that some insults carry a price. Will he die? Death?" The old woman laughed. Death is mercy. No, what awaits him is far more educational. Adanna should have been afraid. She should have refused. She should have walked away. But the rage inside her, the humiliation, the pain of 5 years of blame and shame, it was too much. She took the pot. "What do I owe you?" she asked. Mama and Karuka's white eyes seemed to glow in the firelight. "The spirits will take their payment. In time. In ways you cannot yet imagine. But know this, Adanna Okafor. Once you open that pot, there is no going back. The wheels of fate will turn, and not even the gods can stop them." Adanna nodded. She left the shrine with the pot clutched to her chest. And as she walked back through the forest, she swore she heard laughter in the darkness. Not human laughter. Something older. Something waiting.